Okay guys, so sorry about the natural lighting, but that's how it is. Yes, today we're going to fire up the Singer Legacy SE-300 to do our first embroidery. So just super basic, where to find your embroidery that is in the machine. It does come with a USB that has, I suppose the USB has other designs in it. We are going to check that out in a different video because today what I want to do is just, get the machine ready for embroidery. We're going to spin a bobbin, wind that up and everything again. We already did that in the first video. There are so many things and so many options on this machine. There's no way I can possibly get to all of them or even discuss them or describe them in a way that is timely, that, the way I do it might be different from the way you do it. I do want to talk a little bit about the things you'll need for embroidery, and then we're going to get to it. So I've found things after I did my initial video that I'm like, oh, there's, the alpha and the sewing. There are fonts. I had mentioned that. I had it on the machine that had something like that. It is there. It's actually, I guess like 2 fonts. Really, it's just 1 in my opinion. But you can type up your own little thing and do the sewing function with a little font. But it's just like the smallest little stitching that you would just use to be cute, like a little decorative stitch, basically. It's not the embroidery fonts. Okay, those are different. We'll talk about that today in a little bit. So many things, and I never say to read the manual. This manual is so well done. I think the images, the way they did them, the descriptions, what they're saying is pretty easy to follow. I mean, you do have to know a little about sewing to kind of really get the gist, but I think even if you're a beginner, you'll get it. I love the manual. I was just checking it out earlier. That's why it's opened up the way it is. So I did pick this up at HSN or on HSN, so I'll link that in the description box, and that would be an affiliate link, which means I'll make a small commission for your purchase items through those links, the whole bundle. The machine, it sews, it embroiders, comes with all kinds of feet for all kinds of different purposes. Of course, I didn't go through all of them yesterday in the initial video. I'll link that video in the description box for you guys to check out, the initial unboxing and setup, because we're going to start moving a little bit faster as far as like the bobbin. We already saw that, those kinds of things. Threading the machine, we already saw that. So I'll do that a little quicker. But today you're going to need a computer, right? I will say actually you don't need a computer today, I don't think, because we're going to use the images that are on the machine that are already like in the machine library. I believe with the computer you just have more options to do more things, but we are going to download the software because we're going to want that anyway. So not a Mac, it has to be like a Windows, like PC type of computer laptop, right? I have my husband's laptop. As you can see, he's a teenager. No, I'm just kidding. He's a Marine, he's a lieutenant colonel, but that's his computer with all his little stickers on it. Okay, so I'm going to use that laptop because mine, if I unplug it, it doesn't turn on anymore. It's so old, so I guess I need to upgrade that or update it. I do have a Mac that I normally use, and again, this cannot be downloaded onto Mac, and I've contacted Singer about it and they're like, nope. So they just don't have it, which is interesting. We're going to talk about the things that you need for embroidering, which are not a lot of items, guys, to be honest. And we'll get to that in just a moment. So I just wanted to do a quick intro. I think the next thing we'll do is go ahead and download the software, and then we'll talk about the things that we're going to need for embroidering, and then we're going to get the machine set up or something like that. I think that'd probably be best. So you do need to, and it's right on this first part in the manual, when you're talking about embroidery preparation, there's some info, but down here, embroidery software. It's available for your machine. You have to download it from singer.mysewnetcom. So I'm going to fire up my computer, and if it looks tricky, I'll let you guys know. But basically, I'm going to go there, and you're going to have to search for the software, which is kind of annoying. I was already doing this because I wanted to download the Singer Futura Quintet information to my computer, and it's like you have to go through all of their things to find it. But let me go ahead and pull that up, and we'll go from there. Okay, so I'm just going to type in Singer. It's kind of a bummer because before they would give you a disc and you have to look for anything, you just pop it in, right? And but oh well. Singer.mysewnetcom, and let's see what that looks like. Okay, well, it says I can't find that site, basically, it can't be reached. So what I'm going to do is just go to singer.com. These are the kinds of things that happen, and you can still find what you need there. So let's see, that came up in 2 seconds. I've tried that Sewnet one before, and it didn't work for me either, so I have a feeling there's just some problem with that site. Maybe they don't use it anymore. Okay, so basically, you're going to find your manual, right? And a lot of times, look at all this stuff. No, I'm good. It'll be here. Let's see. Actually, as I'm looking for it, up here it does say My Sonet. So let's click on that and see. But basically, there's a place you can find manuals or software. It's not, they're not trying to hide it. Okay, so I click that and now visit My Sonet, I guess. All right, making updates to improve your experience. Yeah, that's what it seemed like. Let's accept all the cookies, just everything. Come on in. Okay. What did it say about not being functional? We're making updates. Login may not be functional. Thanks for your patience. Okay, that's fine. Download embroidery software. I'm assuming that's what we want to do. Which means we probably need to hook up the computer. What's interesting about that is, did they include cables to hook up the computer? I didn't feel like they did. Huh. We'll have to see about that. Oh, hold on. For Windows and for Mac. That's very interesting. So right now what I'm looking at is not software to actually run the computer. I'm looking at, because a lot of times it's like Futura Quintet and you pull it up, you know, and that's how you run your machine. So this is interesting. All right, we're learning together. Let me see what this, well, I'm going to be on Windows anyway, but download and update software. Download USB driver for direct cable machines. Very interesting. I don't know that this machine is that because I don't think it even has the ability for that. So is it Wi-Fi enabled? Weird. Okay, well anyway, download and update software because we haven't done it before. So it does say embroidery software is available for your machine, which will allow you to use designs from other sources, such as design CDs and designs from the internet. So, and it does say on there, go there for information on how to download this software to your PC. Now, I'm gonna have to try to download this on my Mac. That's interesting. It's still downloading, so it's gonna be a while. But whenever I had interacted literally in emails back and forth with somebody at Singer, they told me they didn't have it for Mac. So, maybe they mean for the Futura. I don't know. We're gonna see how this works, and then we're gonna see how it's gonna interact with the machine. Because yeah, I don't think it's specific to it. At least it's not right now. We'll see. Okay, I'm gonna let it keep downloading. Okay, it's still downloading, but I answered my own question again. This manual, I'm telling you, it says here, updating your machine. That periodically, updates may be available for your machine. Your machine is updated via your USB stick. So it's possible that it's gonna ask me for that USB stick, and that's how I'm gonna interact with my machine. I don't know how I like that. All right, anyway, I think it's done. I have to actually pull in this download. Is it done? Yep, so again, this is particular to your computer, how that's done. I'm just opening it up and I'm going to follow the instructions as far as actual downloading. I don't think we all have to sit here and look at it, but it's saying English, okay. Actually, this is the touch screen, I forget. Installing, all that stuff, okay. I'll be back when it's actually on my computer. It might be different for people, but I'm just going to say next. I don't really care, sure. Yep, I accept everything. I totally read it. Check that out. Next. Install. Okay, associate embroidery files. Do not associate all embroidery files. For me, I don't know what that means, so I'm going to allow all embroidery files because, of course, I want, I just purchased some new ones from Designs by Juju. I love Designs by Juju. If you haven't checked them out, and install. Okay, so I'm going to let that, again, I don't change anything up. I'm just going to keep going. And on your machine, it might look different, so, on your machine, on your computer. So, anyway, do you want to allow this app to make changes? Yes. Okay. I'll be back. Installation. And while this is doing it, you know what? I'm going to download it to Mac too. I think this is the difference, and I'll tell you why. When I had contacted them about the Futura Quintet, you actually need software to run your Futura Quintet. And so maybe for this one, it's a little bit different. So that's why they didn't have it for a Mac. Does that make sense? For my Futura, right? So I'm going to try to download this same thing on my Mac and have that ready to go. I don't know where that went or what it does, but I guess that's it because I downloaded it and I said to finish. I don't know. Let me check something. Obviously, it's my husband's computer. I don't know what all he has on here. I'll be right back. Okay, he has things like Kung Fu movies. Anyway, my Sonet is right here, and I guess if we want to open it, we would just open it, and there you go, guys. So let's open this guy up. You have tools, embroidery. I don't know. Right now, we're going to work with the machine itself. So whenever we need to get into this, we will get into this, but not quite yet. Okay, but there it is. It's not hooked up to the machine at all. Let's see. I'm gonna open up tools, configure, cross stitcher, digitizing, draw and paint, font digitizing, sketch, stitch editor. So there's all these different things that we can play with. that we will do another day. If I need to come back to the computer for this today, I will do that, but I don't think we do. I can just work on the sewing machine itself. So we downloaded our program. We're happy that's there. Yeah, we'll look at that later. Okay, so let me show you what you need to get to begin your embroidery. Really quick before I pull out some of those products, I do want to show you, like if I double click on Stitch Editor or open it, well, not like that, we don't want to rename it, I'm trying to open it. It does ask you to log in, so you're going to go ahead and create your account and all that kind of stuff like you would normally do with any of these things. So I'm not going to get into that because obviously you can do that, create account and then do all the things you need to do for that. I'll probably have that going so next time when we open it, I'm not putting all my personal information out there. So create your account and then go from there, right? Okay, I'll be back. Okay guys, and a huge thank you for hanging in there with me. I had a lot of positive feedback. I know my videos aren't for everyone and I go off on tangents about other things. I'm trying to stick to what you need to know for this, but there's so much. So if something comes back later, I'll go, oh yeah, you can do this, you know. Again, I don't have a script and I'm not, you know, I don't work at Singer, so I don't know everything about these machines, but I have had several embroidery machines and I'm just sharing what I know, easy way to do it, you know, and then go from there. So anyway, some of the most basic things you're going to need, obviously your embroidery hoops, you know, that come with your bundle. You have those guys. You need stabilizers and you need embroidery thread and you need bobbin thread. And the bobbin thread is specific bobbin thread for embroidery. It's thinner than your, you know, any other thread. As you're working, right, you fill up your bobbin, it's usually with the same thread that you use in your top thread, right? Like whatever it is that you're using to sew with. This stuff is super thin. And I always buy it whenever it's on sale, and usually I buy a big cone, but this is the one I bought on Joann online, and I didn't realize it was this small, but this will last forever, okay? So don't worry about that. So we are going to fill up the bobbin with this. It is embroidery thread. It says bobbin there. I will link it for you guys so you know specifically what it is. They usually sell it in white or black. Maybe you'll find a beige, but generally white or black, because you're going to choose the color that most works with the back of your project, right, to blend in, or with the whole project in general. I generally just stick with white, to be honest. I don't even really switch out to a black bobbin thread, but I do have black. We will use white today. You're going to need, so that's very important. The stuff that you want to embroider with, like the threads, it's whatever you want. Generally, I like rayon and polyester threads. Rayon's much nicer, so if you want to go with that. Sulky, Gutterman, these companies make them, I'm sure. Maybe Anchor, these other, I don't know if they make embroidery threads, but I do know I recently picked some up from Hobby Lobby. They were 99 cents. Apparently they're going to be 99 cents every day or something like that. So they have these pretty ones, and these are nylon and polyester, so it might have a little more stretch to it. I don't know if that makes it more difficult to work with, but these were inexpensive, so I picked them up and they're so pretty and sparkly, so I grabbed those. They do also have more basic colors, but I just grabbed the sparkly ones because that's what I wanted. A few of those. Again, it doesn't have to be anything special, but I do like to pick up embroidery thread. You can use cotton ones. They might get fluffy. They just look dull. It's different, but it'll work. But again, for me, I like the sulky embroidery thread. These are rayon. They generally cost a little more, I think, than the polyester ones. Polyester will work. They're shiny and they're pretty, and that's great. But rayon, if you know, can swing it, that's what you should do. They're pretty. They keep up real well. The polyester ones sometimes have a little more stretch and might be more problematic. But again, the best thing that you can afford is what I always say with paper crafts with this. This is a kit I had picked up a while back. I have a ton of just loose ones that I just picked up here and there, and another little kit, but I just wanted to show you guys this because this is definitely the ones that you would want. Machine embroidery, it tells you there, you know, and sergers. Ooh, why would you use this on a serger, honestly? Because it's kind of more expensive. You're just gonna, but maybe you want that serged edge. I don't know. But embroidery thread is different in that it's not just cotton, and they're really pretty, vibrant colors, right? Okay, so we have those. We have specialty ones that are like gold, metallic, and that's cool too. Again, this is just a metallic gold. But generally, whenever I buy things, especially online, I look for specifically machine embroidery threads. Again, polyester, rayon, maybe a blend. You definitely need stabilizing materials. And what that is let's say you're going to stitch on something like whatever, you know, whatever fabric you're going to stitch on, a towel or whatever it is. Anything you're going to stitch on, you're always going to put a stabilizer behind it. So you have your fabric, Right behind it, you're going to place a stabilizer. Maybe on top, you're going to place one, and I'll talk about that in just a moment. What you're going to place behind is helping stabilize, but it's also just giving you a nice flat surface, a nice solid surface to stitch. So you have your fabric, you have the stabilizing material. Now, I picked this up on Amazon, and it's super inexpensive. This is tearaway stabilizer. Look how big this thing is. I can't even explain to you what an amazing deal this was, because it was this, and it came with 2 of the basting sprays. We'll talk about basting spray in a minute. And it was like 40 bucks. And you know, it fluctuates, but I'm sure it was still 40 bucks. It seems like that's their everyday price. But this arrived first. It is Heat and Bond. It's a great brand. Huge roll, 50 yards, 10 inches wide. That's a good width for our hoops and everything. You place this behind there, you do your stitching, and afterwards you rip away what is just around your stitching. Let's say your stitching was like a circle like this. Okay, so everything, it just tears away because it has like tear away feel to it. There are some that you cut away. I don't use those. I don't want to have to cut them away. I'd rather do the tear away. It's up to you. So this one is your super basic, good stuff. You know, it tells you on there for stitching on stable woven fabrics. You know, if you're trying to stitch on like a sweater, like a jersey knit, like a stretchy thing, you might want to pick something different, but everyone has their ideas of why they need to use this or that. Of course, you can read the product for that. For me, that right there is great. Medium weight embroidery sew-in. There's another one. This one I just picked up. I've never tried this one before. It's the sticky kind, so it already has a stickiness to it. Self-adhesive tearaway. So it's still the same stuff. You just need something to be there to stabilize this. This is a tearaway one, and it already has some stickiness to it, so that's cool because it'll kind of help hold your material, even though your hoop is really doing that for you, because your hoop is basically like your embroidery hoop, like if you were cross stitching, right? So it holds it for you. But this is good. Okay, and then you have this like Super Solvy, which is a water soluble stabilizer. I love this stuff. I love using this on like terry cloth or like towels, right? Towels are all loopy and everything. I generally put this on top of the towel. I put the towel, and then I put a stabilizer on the back. So I use this on the very top. You have your towel, and then behind the towel I put a tearaway stabilizer. You can use this behind the towel too, but this stuff costs a little more. And actually, I don't even know if that's the case because they're both $36.99. Generally, but that's because this has the stickiness to it, so it's already more special than just your basic tearaway. At Joann's, these were $36.99. I'm like, they lost their mind because that's crazy. So use your coupon, find it somewhere else. I just had to go grab some for this video. But that's why I like this one. And then it helps flatten out the loops, right, of your towel, because otherwise you're going to be embroidering and maybe they stick out, maybe they didn't get flattened out, and maybe it gets caught in your, needle a funny way. So it's nice to have this on top, your terry towel, and then another stabilizer in the back. So if you have more questions about that, I would definitely watch another channel that does embroidery, and maybe they'll explain it better. Quilt basting spray. Okay, this is controversial. I like to use this. You don't have to use this. Actually, I was going to be like, you know what? I don't really need to use this, and I was going to leave it out. But I do like to use this stuff just to spray a little bit on the stabilizer, put my fabric on, so that way it's not shifting and moving. Some companies will tell you that if you use this stuff, it invalidates like your warranty. I don't know if that's the case, because really the only thing that's touching this is the needle. And of course, if you can imagine, if you have two fabrics and a little bit, I mean a little bit, just a little, you're not gluing them together. That's why it's quilt basting spray. It's just going to help you out for a little bit. You can also do a basting stitch to hold your things together if you want, right? That's up to you. I just don't take the time for that. So spray a little of this. I put my fabric on top of my stabilizer, and then I put it into the frame or into the hoop. You can imagine if that's in there, it probably is slowing the needle down a little bit. The needle's going up and down really fast, and there's like a little gluiness in there possibly. I mean, it's not the biggest amount, to be honest. I've never had issues. I've been working with these guys, oh my gosh, since before I moved to Georgia. And that was 10 years ago easily. Yeah, well, Miranda was born out there. So before that, so yeah, maybe 12 or 13 years, whatever it is, I've been playing with embroidery machines. I've never had an issue. Like, it's been fine. So I like to use this stuff. Don't use it if you're scared. That's fine. So like, for me, what's the difference between that and using this stuff, right? I don't know. Okay, you need something to embroider on. So today I'm going to use a tea towel. It's very flat, very easy. Towels are super easy. Onesies, bags, all these different things you can think of that are just easy to do. I'm sure someone's gonna ask me if you can embroider on a hat with this. I don't think so. You know, hats are kind of rounded, and even if you were to flatten it, I don't know. A beanie, possibly. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know about that one. So I do have some tea towels. Generally, you want to have everything washed, you know, before you embroider, because what if it shrinks? I don't take that extra step, to be honest, but you can do whatever you feel most comfortable with. You'll wash the sizing out if you're using different fabrics or whatever that you might use later in a quilt or something. Then maybe you want to wash them, but I hardly ever do that. So yeah, so I think I'm going to do a tea towel today. And having said that, I was like, maybe I should embroider. That's fine. We'll embroider on a tea towel. And we'll go from there. So those are the very basic things. Again, you need some really nice thread. You need the bobbin thread. That's for a machine embroidery machine. Or for machine embroidery, I guess that's what I was trying to say. A stabilizer. I love tearaway stabilizer. These are some fancier ones. Maybe quilt basting spray, right? And then something to embroider on. So I am going to clear some of this stuff out because we need to bring our machine over, add the embroidery attachment to it, make ourselves a bobbin, and choose a design. One more thing about the book. I'm on page 47. That's where I'm kind of reading some of this initial stuff. Your machine comes with a USB stick, which we showed you in the initial video. It's a tiny little thing, so you definitely want to put something on there so you don't lose it. It does have a little loop. Oh my goodness, the thing is so small. It contains the following: design data for embroidery designs, design book, PDF file displaying images of included embroidery designs and fonts viewed on PC, which is nice because you have these little drawings back here, but they are black and white. I don't know, you know, I haven't checked out the thing, so maybe we'll check it out if these are in color. But in the very back, you see all the designs that are already in the machine, right? The machine's library, you have a couple hundred or whatever it is. Individual design information, PDF file displaying details on individual designs viewed on PC. Okay, so yes, you can definitely get that little stick, put it in your computer just to open the files and see what's on it, which is cool. It does say when you connect your USB stick to your machine, there's all these things. Note, do not remove the USB embroidery stick while operating the machine or stitching the embroidery, as this can damage the files on your USB embroidery stick. So that is scary, so don't do that, okay? So anyway, all this stuff is in here. Again, the design book is provided back here, right? You can see images of the design as well as the dimensions and stitch counts. This book is a PDF file which can be accessed from USB stick when placed in your PC also. Again, you can download these. Let's say you lose that. I don't know about the images, but you can definitely download the manual if you need it again. Oh, that's in there. Okay, so let me grab the things like I said, the attachment. So I have my attachment here. I know it's kind of out of frame. You see some of it. If I turn the machine on right now, because it's already plugged in, I do have the presser foot on, which you don't need because we're doing embroidery, but I'll turn the machine on. It's going to say Singer, and it's going to give me my options for sewing because this guy's on. It will know automatically when the embroidery attachment is in, and part of that has to do with this over here, this relay here, and whatever else is going on, so it knows what's happening. I will tell you real quickly, remember I mentioned that this has sewing fonts in it. Well, I thought it didn't for the sewing function. Obviously there's an A there, that's part of it. You can click on that and then choose the font. It's already on that one, say A, and let's say we're typing like Miranda or whatever, that's uppercase. I can press this for the lowercase and then keep typing. Let's say I had typed in Miranda or something, and now it's going to be on here so I can scroll through and see my lettering. There's the M and there's the I, and you can mix it and match it with the stitches that it makes, like a little heart or like a little apple or whatever. So really cute. We'll do another video on that. I just wanted to mention that really quickly here. And then also on the very end of the machine over here is where you put your USB, right? This little latch here, there's an opening. You pop the USB in there. Okay, so let's go home. I'm going to turn the machine off. Okay, so we're just going to take this big guy. I'm going to put it on my lap because I have nowhere else to put it right now. So it's at a weird angle. We're just going to slide this whole thing off, right? Just put it up. In the first video I showed you, the USB for your little app is in here. You have to unclick it there. It's in this little red package. I know you can see it in there. It's like a little red package. We're going to need the embroidery foot from this, so we'll put that to the side for now. You're going to grab this whole guy and just slide it on. Make sure nothing's impeding that, which of course this guy is. Let me move this out of the way. Clink. That is clinked in there. And let me turn this back on over here. We're gonna switch out the foot and all that kind of stuff, and it's probably gonna tell me I have the wrong foot. It's, you know, asking for different things. Let's go ahead and remove the foot. So let me read a little bit about that for this one. I'm pretty sure I just have to unscrew it and then add the new one, but let's do that. Remember in the first video I showed you how to change your presser feet, and I told you that all you have to do is bring it down and it clicks on, and that's what it should do. It says that's what it does, but it didn't do that on some of the feet that I was switching out to. So if you're having problems with that, lower it and then press the little black button in the back. It'll just kind of open up and grab that foot for you. But for right now, we're just going to remove this whole thing. Okay, it's on page 8. So if this is loose enough for me to turn with my hand, it is not, and it probably shouldn't be. You can use a screwdriver. There are 2 screwdrivers. There's this one, and there's another one that looks kind of like a tuna can opener, if you ever had to open a tuna can from back in the day like that. So let's loosen this up. I'm turning away from me. And I'm going to open that up, and it's already off basically. So I'm just going to lift this up to the highest position to kind of loosen this. Okay? We want the whole thing off. Okay, not just the foot. And then you're gonna bring this guy in. This is where your needle is gonna be going up and down in this little spot. So you just bring this back in. I do believe there's something that might have to catch to pop this on. I just wanna make sure about that. Let me read, I'll be right back. Okay guys, I'm gonna close up. I will say, this is page 42. And it's telling you to switch out the needle to an embroidery needle. Does it tell you which one's an embroidery needle? No, it doesn't. So I went back and looked about the needle pack. It still doesn't really say like, oh, use this one or that one. Maybe I'm just overlooking it. But this is a needle pack. See how some have an orange band, green band, blue or whatever. On the back it has information. I'm leaving the needle that's in there. So you can do with that what you will. It does accept a twin arm needle. It doesn't come with one, but you can use a twin arm needle in this machine. I mentioned at the beginning in the first video, I wasn't sure. And then this guy. So what it is, as you put this in, that's what I remembered back in the day, this part, this big guy, has to kind of touch behind this thing. I'll get a little bit closer. You're actually going to want to remove the this whole thing. Just take it out completely. That takes a little while. That is, yeah, really in there. The needle is still there. If you want to remove the needle and place this or however, but I'm not going to mess with that. This bar needs to be in front of this little silver piece. You see it right here. My finger's like behind it, okay? So that it basically helps control it, I guess. Okay, I don't know. So yeah, so we just removed that guy. And all you're gonna do is bring this in and get it up on this post, but again, this white portion needs to go behind this little guy. So it does say that you can actually turn the needle towards you to lower this, to help you with that. So again, let's bring this guy. Very interesting, this whole little tool. Anyhow, all right, we're gonna bring it in here, put it on that metal stick where you just, the rod or however, where you just remove the other piece. And this, since this is brought down, this needs to tuck behind, see how this silver bar is here? This is just behind it, that's it. So, just put it back and get the screw going back in here, kind of knowing where it needs to be, like right up in there. And then tighten it up again. I'm going to tighten it as much as I can with my fingers, right? Hand tighten. And then I'll probably give it a little bit more tightening with the tool. So if this was up, it would be hard to get this plastic piece behind it. So that's kind of why we did that. Okay, so I'm turning towards me, obviously, tighten up. And of course you don't have to like get too buck wild with it, but just a good tightness so it's not just moving around and flailing and doing whatever, right? Okay? So it doesn't actually hit this part, it just goes through the plastic, that first piece, into the metal rod that's already there. We are going to wind our bobbin again and all that kind of good stuff. So let's do that first before we continue on, okay? Sorry, I just had to change the angle because basically our press foot's up right now. We just work with it. We're going to remove our bobbin anyway, so let's just pop that out right now. We don't need that in here. This is the one from yesterday. We'll talk about that in a minute. But all I did was just remove that little, let it pop up. We can put this back or wait. We're going to remove the thread that's already threaded in here. But this is good. If you have the... what this is showing me right here is this code right here, right? Because our presser foot is up, but also if we have a carriage on there, should remove it. I do not have a hoop, should I say, on there. So let's lower the foot and it does not have a thing on there, so let's just say okay. And now it's telling me to lower the foot, which I did do that, but also to turn this until your needle is in the highest position. So I'm rotating towards me until the needle is in the highest position. I already removed the bobbin, so it's not going to pick up any bobbin thread anyway. Just bring that up until the highest position, which I think is there, and it should be able to say okay. And now it's telling me to lower the presser foot, which I already did, or to raise it. Oh, well, let's raise it. Okay, we did that. And now this guy is doing something. Sorry. Okay, so the carriage moved, and now we're good to go. So that's what you want to see. You want to see the little design and your font. But we're going to fill up our bobbin. I don't want to make this the longest video ever, but I'm just going to open this up. I still have this in from yesterday, so I'm going to remove that, remove the cap, remove your thread. I'm going to pick up my presser foot. But oh, it is up, okay. I was saying to release the tension, but there we go. I'm just going to pull this out. There's already a little thing in there. I'm just going to load this up, and I'll be right back. This stuff is so thin. It's like the thinnest little thread, because you just don't want it all bulky behind your project. So, okay, we're going to do the same thing as yesterday. I'm going to put this on here, get it onto a bobbin, and I will be right back. Just like yesterday, I'm going to hold this, I'm going to engage this, and it's going to say, oh, that's your bobbin. I'm going to say, yep, and I'm going to say play and let it just wind up. I'm going to let the whole thing fill up because you do not want that to run out while you're stitching. If it does happen, the machine has redundancies, like you're going to be able to remove the hoop, put in a new bobbin, but that's not the best, so definitely fill it up. Stopped again. It does have an automatic cutter over here. I don't know if it's automatic, but a built-in cutter. So let's get this guy off of here. I'm going to take this off, and we'll replace that with another thread. I probably should have left that green thread that I had in there right now because I can't pick up my bobbin thread without that. So we'll deal with that in just a moment. But I'm going to place this back into my bobbin, just like we did yesterday, into the bobbin area, the cassette here, and I'll be back. I pop that in there. Essentially, we're set up to start embroidering. I mean, we need to do a little bit of prep. I will show you that this means everything's good to go. Right now it's saying, you know, we want to use the machine to choose our design. You just type in the number and you go from there. If you want to use the USB, you would press this. Obviously the USB is not in there, so it's like, hey, you're tripping. I will say it reacts to your nail. I've been trying to use my finger and it's kind of hard. I was going to just use a stylus, you know, like a pen stylus, which I have tons of. The kids always have random things like that, but it does respond to your nail, so that's good. What I'm going to do before we even get started with that is I need to pick a design, and yeah, I can pick it from the back of the book. I just don't know what colors it's going to ask for and those kinds of things. So I assume when you see the images of it, it should be in color. But let me get the book. Obviously it's telling you all kinds of things here. Thread tension, which I'm not going to mess with. Again, it should just do it. And hopefully it does, because I do not like messing around with things like that. But I was already kind of perusing this, and I thought if I'm doing a kitchen towel or like a tea towel, I was looking for a kitchen design. Look how cute. So I was thinking these olives might be kind of fun. Just a couple colors, you know. So it's design 135, and it's a 9x6, and hopefully you can manipulate that. So let's see, design 135. So let's see if I can 135, and then yes. I haven't done anything to get this going. I don't know if that's all you need, but that's what I chose. Let me read a little more. You know what? It's not doing anything, and I don't know if it's because I don't have anything in the hoop yet, and I'm reading about it and it doesn't say anything about that, so I'm assuming that's why it hasn't done anything, because look, I mean, hello, what more can I do? So let me use the USB. I'm going to put it in my computer, and we're going to see what design 135 looks like. That's what I want to know. Guys, this is all very sad and pathetic. I didn't register this yet, so we're not going to do that, but I am going to take this little tiny USB. Look how small this thing is. And I want to see the design. That's what I'm looking for. And I suppose you can do this in the machine too. I don't know. That is crazy. I feel like I need to do something, but it's basically the insert of a USB. You know, usually the thumb drive has like something on it. So I'm gonna stick this in my computer. So weird. It's so small and it's really acting funny to get in there. There we go. Let's not damage that. That's so scary. Pushing that in there is very scary, guys. Okay, I don't know how to use this computer because it's my husband's, so I'm going to see what I need to do to open that up. Oh, you know what? USB right here. Oh, design book, data, design data, individual design information. I want to see design book. And then I double click on that again. Your computer might be different. And see, there's colors here. And we were looking for design 135. I'm trying to scroll there, but you know what? It's not doing it. So let's scroll this down. All these designs are already in the machine. Okay, guys, these are not the ones that are on the USB. So oh, look at that. Okay, so it's different than I thought, to be honest. Okay, so I can keep that up just so I know what I'm looking at. Let's get our towel ready for stitching. You guys, just as I look at this, I mean, there is so much. Once you get it in there, you know, you have rotation options, you have mirroring, you have obviously scaling. You can put it in a different spot on, you know, your actual hoop, right? It doesn't have to be dead center. It could be wherever it is that you want to manipulate that. I mean, there is editing, right? All these different fun things. What did I see over here? Oh, tracing, basting. You can do a basting stitch, guys, so you don't have to use the basting spray, you know, you don't have to do it by hand either. You do have to remove those stitches afterwards, but they should just be able to pull out. So monochrome, maybe you don't want to keep switching out colors, you just want it to be all done in like line work in red or something. I don't know why you'd want to do that, but some of them you might, right? This is just so much. And right now we're just looking for a design. So maybe I don't think I'm going to add words to it today. Alpha's really easy, but we'll do a separate video on that. Okay guys, I was just debating which hoop to use. I'll go ahead and use the larger one. The whole point of stabilizing fabric also is like, let's say like right now, if I want to do this tea towel and I want the design right in the very corner, but there's a, you know, a seam there. I kept saying hem yesterday, guys. I'm so sorry. Obviously, hem allowances and seams are, you know, hand in hand, but also different. These guys, you know, it's pretty thin. I could probably get it crunched in there if I wanted to. But the whole point of stabilizer also is like, let's say I want it in that corner. I would use the stabilizer to get in the hoop, but also to hold this down, again, with the basting or with however. So you have this big fabric in the background that's going to help you keep this where you want it. I think I'm going to go ahead and just stitch it down the center, even though the olives are in a way that I think would be cuter in the corner. I think I'm going to put them right down here. You can, you know, type out a word, whatever, I don't know, you can, olives or olive, just something cute, you know. The font here, I think it has a script font and like a more basic font. So, I try not to be too tight with my materials. That's going to get you into trouble, but at the same time, you know, you really just want this. If you're going to fill up your whole embroidery hoop with the material, you don't really need this to help you stabilize that, you know, you had a piece of ribbon or something thin across here, right, that you wanted to embroider on. So anyway, I'm just going to open this guy up. Sorry guys, that was kind of loud probably. And we need a piece of this, and don't know what I'm going to end up sizing that design, so I'm going to get a pretty good piece. And again, this stuff is relatively inexpensive, so I'm not too afraid to do that. I'm just going to run it up the side here. And let me move this for a moment. And this is my dining table. It probably isn't the place I want to do this, but I'm going to put a little basting spray on this. You know, I'm going to take it outside real quick and just give it a quick spray. I know you're not going to see it. I'm not going to completely soak it. Just a little something to help me hold it. You do not have to do this, because to be honest with this project, once you have that, once you have this piece and this guy like on top of it, it's going to fit into your embroidery hoop really well. So, you know, it's going to be held all together anyway, but I still like to make it easy for me to actually adjust it and do all that stuff. I like to work with this as one piece. So again, I'm going to spray this right quick with some basting spray, and I'll be right back. So it's just a little bit. I don't even know if it's enough to, oh yeah, it's sticky. A little sticky. We're going to keep that right there. Now, I need to, now that I'm doing more sewing, I need to get myself a better space. But where is that? About there? That's fine. Really, I just want to cover the center area, so that's fine. And again, you would have ironed this because you're a professional. Okay. Nice, 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 nice. Okay. Embroidery hoop. Again, if this was a towel, like a terry towel, I would have gotten the solvent one and put that on top too. I wouldn't Generally with that one I don't use the basting spray. Just get yourself enough that your hoop is going to help you hold it. And here's our hoop, and we're going to open it up. This essentially is going to be on top, right? So get this guy going. I want to see if there's a certain way this is going to attach. All important information. This guy should be down here. It's going to attach over here, obviously, but not like this. It's like this, okay? Flat. You have that guy. Okay. And see, the basting spray isn't really like super sticky. It's just going to help me kind of manipulate these things together. And I am going to eyeball this. Now, you know, I would look at this guy. I don't think this matters if you have it one way or the other. It looks pretty much the same, you know, symmetrical all around. Just looking at this, and where do I want to place that? So I'm going to take a moment, guys, to really get this lined up where I want it. Obviously we want it straight. More that way. Let me take a minute. I don't want to waste your guys' time. I'm just trying to see how straight I can get it down here. Okay, so I kind of think that's where I want it. I push that down. Keep everything nice and straight. Obviously you can undo the hoop a little more. I'm just using my strengths here. You want it nice and flat, okay? So it's not up here, it's nice and flat with the base of the hoop, right? So, and then of course you can check it out, make sure it's straight, whatever it is that you're looking for that to be right. That feels pretty good. It should be taut. It doesn't have to be like a drum, but nice and taut, and then we're gonna tighten it up. It's pretty tight already, but just give yourself some tightness. I will say the machine also underneath the embroidery part has some little levers. Oh, by the way, this also helps you do a quick release. You can do it and it just opens up. Something like that. So something I remember about that, but maybe I'm tripping. But it looks like it. Anyhow, the machine down here, in this part, under here, it has some little casters that you can manipulate if it's not straight for some reason, like your table, I guess, but I think we're good and it's pretty sturdy. Okay, we have that on there. Let's just move on to the image. I don't know which one they're going to do first, if it's going to tell me a certain color needs to be used or any of that. Okay, so we'll see. Bring this over. My presser foot is still up from earlier, and maybe that's why, you know, this is also being kind of funny. But you're going to get this up under there, and if you use this lever here, it helps you pick it up more, right? That white lever. And we need to attach our hoop, and I actually didn't read anything about that, so let's just see. It looks like there's going to be something to help us release. It probably, oh, I see. Okay, we're going to slide it. This thing has like a little slidey area, so we're going to bring this and just slide it into there. Obviously we're going to get everything out of the way till it clicks in, right? So that is it. Now we're going to move this. Still hasn't said anything as far as anything, and I haven't loaded a thread up here because I don't know what color I want to start with. So let's see, let's put the presser foot down. I don't think that really should matter. And we already chose our design, and I said okay, and it's still not doing anything, so let me see what that's about. I'm still reading all about this because it should just be doing something, but remember I told you that fast release? That's if you want to keep embroidering on the same fabric, and let's say, you know, to remove the whole hoop and do all these things, all you have to do is fast release, move your fabric to where you want it, and then tighten it again, right? Put that latch back. So that's really great. Nice information to know. We already talked about this, picking up the needle, you know, putting in the hoop. For whatever reason, it says I should just be working on it. Like, that's no big deal here. So I'm trying to figure out what is going on and why this is being funny. I mean, I can definitely turn the machine off and turn it back on, so I guess that's one thing we can do. So that's what I'm going to do really quickly. And let's give it a moment. And then turn it back on. I wanted 135. Okay, we have all this. We said all that. Okay, fine. We have, I guess, the right foot on or whatever it's asking. Lift it up. I don't know. Sure. Make sure you have a nice clear area for this thing, just so you know, because it could be bad if you damage something back there because you hit the wrong space there. We said 135? I don't even remember anymore, so let's do it. 135, yes. And it's not doing anything, but we will see about that. I can check out some info. I should be able to say info and it should give me info on it. This is not good. Let's see what is happening. Let's go back home. Yeah, 135. Something's up. Okay, I'll be back. Literally everything I'm reading, it says it should just be doing it. So I'm going to update the machine, and you have to do that with your USB stick. So I'm going to go back on that, whatever, my Sonet. And the USB is already in there anyway. So I'm going to go back into the USB possibly, I guess. Sorry, I'm doing that over here. It depends on your computer, so I don't really feel like that's something you have to see here, but I have been trying to work on that with you guys. I'm just, again, going back to my Sonet, I guess. And it's right here, download and update software, which I already did that, so I don't know, download USB driver for direct cable machines. I have no idea what any of these things are asking. So, I'll be right back. Guys, so I'm generally a pretty patient person. That's what I hear from you guys a lot. There is no way to sign into that My Sonet. You know how it said they might be down for I don't know how long or when or what's up with that. I can't log in or even pull up that page on any computer. I've tried different things. Even when you try to use the USB and like look at some certain information, it's like, oh, you need an account before you do that. And it just times out. There's no My Sonet like login part. So hopefully you already have a login. That's fine. What I wanted to show you guys was, I don't know why, whenever I go to do a design, 135 is what we wanted. Right here, it should let me look at the info. It should let me choose it. It's not doing any of that, right? Okay, well, let's go back home. If I press alpha, there are alphas. You have some really nice ones. It looks like maybe that's the size of the font, 30, 15, 7, because it's basically the same font in different sizes. Okay. And I can choose one. I'll say cool. I can type something. I mean, this is a tea towel. I would like it for the kitchen, but like, I don't know what I want it to say. Maybe, I don't know. I'm sorry, I put my hand on my face. Happy fall or something? I don't know. Let's see. H-A, oh, actually, let's go back. H and then, let me get a little closer right now as to not continue to frustrate myself, and I actually stopped and had lunch because I was getting hangry about it. We're gonna do a font, and if I can figure out the image in the meantime, I'll bring over the USB so you can see what that might look like. I did want that to be a separate video, but I don't know what's going on. So, lowercase, A, P-P-Y, space, go back to capital, happy, oh, first of all, it says happy. Hold on, let's go back over here, 2 P's. Y, sorry, I hope I didn't do that too fast, but obviously delete button is there, space, you know. Back over here, capital F, lowercase a, L, L. I do not know if that's going to fit on here. I mean, it might be happy fall with an exclamation point, or just happy fall. Does it have an exclamation point? That's funny, I mentioned that, and look, I don't see it on here. Is it over here? No, maybe here. Okay, we have numbers and funny, you know, things. And so under the numbers, you have your question mark, exclamation points, things like that. But that's fine. So let's just say happy fall. Now the machine wants to put itself in place to do that for me. It looks like it's going to do it right up there, right? I haven't even put anything in. As you can see, it's sideways. That's the other thing. I don't want it to be sideways. So now we're going to manipulate things. Now your manual shows all kinds of stuff about this. So, you know, it's whatever you want. I think that's a mirror image if I do that. Possibly. Or, no, it is. Okay, it's the rotation. Again, guys, you can look at your manual. I think it's the rotation. It might still be a mirror image. It says 90 degrees there. Oh, no, that's not what I want. Oh, okay, so I'm messing around with this thing quite a bit, and that's not even close to what I wanted. See, it mirror imaged it, right? So let's go back to where we can read it, happy fall. And I'm talking about rotating this thing. So let me see what that's about, because I want it this way. It might put it the way it did because it's so big, the font I chose. So let me see about that. So this is definitely mirroring these buttons. This is your rotation. 270 would be probably upside down, I assume. So if I go back to 90, it says if it doesn't give you the option of 90 degrees, that means what you're gonna write is too wide. So it'll just go to 180, which basically means turn the other way, right? So happy fall, the way it's written this way, it's going to go the other way. I'm hoping 90 degrees is what I want. I assume, right? Because if it's like this, 90 degrees, you know, is half of 180. 45 would be like this, right? So I hope that means that it stitch it up the way I want. I don't know. I guess we'll see. We can always tear things out, right? So I'm hoping that the machine knows that you don't want the words upside down, right? I don't know. I guess that if you did want them upside down, you're going to mirror them, right? So right now I can see it says happy fall. I hope it didn't, you know, I pretty much unmirrored everything, whatever I was pressing the first time. You can scale it right here. So this one, if you want it larger or smaller or whatever, you know, I don't really know that with this one. It's going to be super easy to know what that means. So I'm just going to let it stitch. I mean, what are you going to do, right? So there's that. And then, let me see what this other one, or the hoop, the embroidery option screen, that's this one. And it says press the embroidery option tab. You can access embroidery options by pressing the buttons shown, hoop option and selection. That's the top one. The next one is tracing. The next one, C, is basting, and then D is monochrome, which we're gonna use one color anyway because it's just the one color of thread to do the words. So those are the different options you have there. Hoop option selection, top right button shows the hoop size selected. That means what's in here is the 260 by 150. I wish they do other numbers like inches, but that's okay. So there's that. When you press the hoop option select button, the hoop option screen will appear first. Like if I was to choose this one, I can mess with it, I guess, in some ways. Center position, we want to check where the center position of the hoop will be placed in the fabric. Press this button. I mean, there's just a lot of information, guys, for all that. Editing your design. Anyway. Oh, tracing's kind of fun. The tracing button can be used to trace around the design area. Press the second button to move the hoop so the needle is placed in the upper left corner of where the design will be embroidered. Each press of the button will move the hoop to view all corners of the design. So that might be fun because you might still be wondering, like right now, I'm like, where is it actually going to do this? So let's press that button. That's where it's going to be. And the next one is there. Down here. Yeah, it's still going to do it long ways. I don't want that. Right? I mean, that's interesting. Okay, and then here's some hoop options, some different info. You do want to press this P. When you're going to turn off the machine, you're going to park your hoop, is what it said, and that you should do that. So I guess just to avoid damage. So when you press P, it parks it. It puts it back in the position it should have been to begin with. But anyway, okay, well, let's get out of there. I don't know that I want this design. Let me think about this a little bit. Go back to embroidery scaling and see if that will help me make it smaller. See, it's making it smaller here. -20, that's pretty good. I think that's as small as I can get it because I chose the larger font, I suppose. So let's see now if I can go, let's go back over here, okay. And let's go in here. And give me 90 degrees. And then the option is 270, huh? That's not what I want. I want it left and right. Okay, let me think. So I am tiring of this. So let's go back over here. Let's change this size. Let's just say home. I'm going to start with the smaller one. I'm going to do the happy fall. I'll be right back. Okay, now it looks like it might be able to, so I chose the 15 font. Let's see this one. It's telling you the orientation of the machine. See how the sewing machine is like this? That changes when you press these buttons, and it does. Oh, it's telling me to change my hoop size, right? But why? Why don't I just keep using this one? Does that make sense? Okay, I don't want to do that. If you go ahead and, you know, take it off, you use that little ejector button, this little gray button you press and pop it out, change out the hoop. Or it says you don't have to do that, that you can go to the hoop selection and change the size of the hoop and say when you want to use. So let's see if it's going to let me do that. I don't know if that's okay. So hoop, the size, and let's see, I'm going to choose that. And this is the bigger one, and again, it's the 260 by 150, I guess. And then say that's the one I want. Even though it told me to switch out hoops, It might not let me do the 180, huh? This is aggravating, guys. Again, you know, we're learning it, so let's see what we have. It's still at 90. And it says you don't have to see her. Oh, okay, so since I changed the hoop size, it didn't tell me I have to change it. So, but it's upside down. We don't want that. So let's keep going. And one more. Happy fall, and it's sideways. We learned. Okay. It looks like it's going to type it up here, and I kind of want it down towards the bottom. So let's see where it's actually going to put it. So, yeah. It's definitely putting it right in the center. So I'm going to want to move that. So let me see how we do that. I have a feeling it's here. Okay. Yep. So this is the first screen that appears anyway once you choose your design. Of course, the designs for whatever reason are coming up. I have a feeling if I use the USB, maybe it'll like wake the machine up and like update. I don't know. I'm not super enchanted with that. But you can just press this, and you can press it a little bit like that, right? Or you can just hold it down and it'll move the machine at bigger increments. And I kind of want it down here. Right? Maybe even a little bit lower if it'll let me. Right? Like down in here? I don't know. I don't really know how tall this is going to be, and it might even be like really small. So let's, again, with the old machine, you use your computer to kind of play with it. You can still play on board, but I don't know, it was more user friendly. I really like this machine, and I just have to learn it, I'm sure. But these are things we come across, okay guys? All right, well, I'm pretty much ready to stitch. So I need to add a color up here. So let me grab a color, and I guess we'll get started. Okay guys, this color is so pretty and rich. I'm gonna use this beautiful brown from my Sulky kit. I think that might be the beginning, it might be the end of the thing. I'm looking for the beginning, and there we goes. There we goes. Anyway, just like I did yesterday, I'm going to go ahead and pop this on here, put the cap. There are smaller caps, you don't have to use this big guy. There's a smaller one you can also use, but I'll place that in there, and I'm gonna go ahead and get this on here. Okay, so I'm going to get it all threaded. I will say, after we did all this, I did not pull up the bobbin thread, so I might release this just to get the bobbin thread. It might find it on its own, I don't know, but I want it there. I don't want to have an oopsie just because of that. So I'll be right back. So I got that strung in there. I'm going to close this up. You don't have to. Oh, also, if you have a larger spool, or even for this one, you did get a little like net that you can put on top of your spool, and it'll kind of help your spool for unraveling really faster in a way that might not be great. So you can use that for sure. Okay, so this guy, I want to pull up the bobbin thread like I said, so I'm going to release this. I know it's hard to see, but over here there's a little gray button. I'm going to push it. Okay, I'm going to push that down. And I'm sorry, you know, this is just how things are in real life. So I'm going to push that down, release this guy just to get it out. We're going to place it right back. Kind of lift this up. You don't want to damage your machine to let this guy come out. And I'm going to hold on to this. Now, the string is kind of up here on top. I don't know if it's supposed to go, or your thread underneath that little loophole. I guess it will get there if it needs to, right? Start to sew. Thread the upper thread with the first color, which is what I just did. Pass the upper thread through the hole of the embroidery foot. And that's what I was wondering. So it does want you to bring it down in here. And, yeah. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. And it didn't say anything about the bobbin thread. I don't know if you noticed that, but I'm sure there's a way to get this in here other than trying to really... Hopefully you can see what I'm doing. I'm just going to get the end of this. Don't curl it up all around your needle, okay? Be careful it doesn't wind up going in front of the needle and back behind. Just keep it behind your needle. And I am going to... I don't know if I have to bring this down or not. Yeah, I guess I'll bring it down. And I'm going to bring this forward. I'm holding onto the thread end. And I'm going to bring out my bobbin thread, possibly. That did not sound good. He did not sound happy. Okay, there's the bobbin thread now. It's coming up. Keep going. There it is. Okay, so bobbin thread is up and out now. Again, I don't know if you have to do that or not, but I felt like I needed to, and it sounded not nice, right? Okay, let's place this back again. So we're going to carefully bring this in here. Where are we at? Okay, I want to make sure you guys can see what I'm doing. And you'll get better at this. I mean, I'll get better at this. It's been a while since I did any embroidery. We're going to lift this guy up. Let that come in. And we're going to slide it back in where it was, right? So this end, we're going to slide in. And I don't know. Supposedly it knows if it's on there, if it's not on there, but that's fine. Okay, I'm going to bring my foot down. I think I can do that now. It didn't say not to. And you should just start stitching. So let's see, hold on. So it's telling you all this stuff. You did whatever. Stitch out screen. When the press stitch out tab, the stitch out screen will appear. Embroidery field and position. Stitches left in color block. Total number of stitches. Weird. Okay, I don't know that I care about that at all. This last little icon that we didn't mess with, it just says it's a stitch out screen. I don't know. There you go. Maybe it means how many things are left. I did happy fall, so that is 9, right? Oh, you know what? Let's go to monochrome, because honestly, it's telling me 1 of 9 things are left. I don't know if it's gonna ask me to switch out my thread every time, because they don't know what I'm really doing, right? So maybe we do want to switch, choose monochrome, even though it might not be a big deal. I'm sure you should just type it out. Let's live life dangerously. Let's just say to stitch it, because it should know that I don't want each letter being a different color, in my opinion. I've never had that issue before. I've always just typed up whatever and then it just does it, right? So hopefully that's not an issue with this one. Okay, when embroidering, a color block is completed, machine will stop automatically and cut upper thread. A pop-up will appear asking you to change color. Rethread your next color and press the check button, right, if you're done. Okay. All right, just want to make sure everything's good. Lower the presser foot, hold the upper thread, and press to go. That is so scary. I mean, I haven't said yes, I just have it on there, so we'll see. Okay, I put that down. I'm going to hold my upper thread. I'm going to press play, and it should stitch it where I wanted it. It's going to ask you to cut the thread. So the end of your thread here, usually I use some fine embroidery scissors, but just take that and take that little piece off because it'll just get in the way later. And now we say okay. And it should theoretically keep going. Do you see how it's not doing anything more? Okay. What is happening? Let's press this. Okay. I just had to let it know that, sure, I cut it, and now let's go. Okay. Maybe, oh, it broke. Okay, thread broke. Things like this happen. So let's check this. I'm going to come back over here and bring this out, lift this up. My thread broke, which is not great. All I see is white thread up here, which means the bobbin thread. I hope not. That's weird. Okay, well I'm gonna redo this and I'll be back. Hey guys, you know, sometimes there's issues like this. Okay, I'm gonna lower this. I already did everything. I put it through the hoop, the little hole. I'm gonna say I fixed it. I'm going to beg it to stitch again, please. It's gonna go back where it came from. Probably gonna stop and ask me to cut the thread. Over here, we're gonna press play again. Oh my goodness. It looks like it's going okay. Everything looks good. The only thing is there's a missing section there, and I don't know if it's going to come back to do the H, but I have a feeling that part of my lettering is going to look bad, and it's just going to be that way. Like, that's done. Unless it has to come back through there and hope. Nope, yeah, that was the H and it's messed up. That's a bummer. Maybe I can applique something over there or put like a little cute icon in that very corner. I don't know. Not very big. This is kind of interesting because it's a kind of a little bit of guesswork. Like on my other machines. Oh, it's going to tell me to cut the thread. I don't want to. Again, we should have done monochrome, right? I'm not going to cut it. I'm just going to keep going. And it's going to tell me to cut that. I'm not going to do that either. Okay, so we should have chose monochrome. That way it's doing it all one color. I've never had a machine ask me the color of each letter. It's different. It's different. I'm really in love with the sewing part. I don't know if this is my favorite, but we got to get used to it. Once you start using it and you know your little tricks, you're like, okay, that looks really pretty. Too bad, you know, my thread broke. My bad. It's possible I can redo the H, or I'm going to have to do some hand stitches, you know. I'm not going to cut it. And I'm just going to press play, and then it's going to do some tack down stitches, which don't have to be necessary. Sorry, guys. All right, well, in between each one, I'm gonna press, and I'm not gonna cut it, and press play, and I'll be back. Okay, so far so good, other than asking me every 2 seconds, you know, after every letter to do this thing, but that's all right. Going, stitching out embroidery letters. Note, if desired, you can select the monochrome function, see page 51, so all letters will sew without cutting between. I don't know why I would default to a font being, every letter being a different color. But anyway, so here, remember we talked about monochrome, and I was like, oh, I don't need to do that. It's right here. Once you select the little frame, the hoop, you choose this, and you choose monochrome. Okay? And then that's it. Then go ahead and stitch out your words, but we're just having fun. We're learning. I know I said that this takes, you know, some guesswork. I mean, it kind of did, right? But there is in that sewing, you know, my sew, whatever that thing is, that you can play around in there too, right? I can't log in and I can't get it going, so I can't use that function right now. And hopefully they take care of it. But other than that, you know, what are you gonna do, right? So, and this is just for this part, because we're gonna follow up, try to do a design. I don't know what's going on with that. Maybe we'll use the USB port, you know, the little Singer USB port, in the next video. Okay, so I think this video is long enough. We talked about some of the basics, and yeah. It tells me it's done. It's done, and it cut itself. Do you see that? The automatic cutting function, which is great. That's no problem. I was wondering if I repeat it, if it'll hit that same H, that first part. Because to be honest, I don't think I'm gonna ever do that by hand. Let's see. Ooh. I'm willing to try it because this thing's already messed up as it is. So let me hold on to this thread if I can. It's kind of tight in here, guys. I'm gonna lift the foot because I want to get some slack on this. What I'm gonna do is just tell it to do it again, right? I think you should do it. So if I press play, right? Essentially it should line right back up there. It's tacking down. It's telling me to cut this. And then I'll just be a very good girl and stop it after a few seconds. I could just redo the whole thing, but if it moves even a little bit, it's gonna look crazy. So I'm gonna say go. And then I'm gonna pause it and see if I can stop it when I need to. I'm watching yours right there, and if I pause there, I wonder if I can tack it down and be done. Do you think I can? It might not let me. It doesn't look like it's gonna let me do that because it would light up, right? Okay, how about we stop there. I am going to raise this and I'm going to remove it and just be done. Like, I'm done. I don't care about anything else here. So I'm gonna remove this. I'm gonna pop that tab so I can pull this out. And I already popped up the foot. So I have this, and I'm gonna have plenty that I can tack down myself. I'll just get that on a needle and tack it down so it doesn't undo. And that was a quick little trick to get that done. Because it looked crazy before. Okay, so we're done. You can go back in here. I don't know if you can save these, because I know with some of the other things you can save the font, like with the sewing function. But that's it for today, guys. That's all I can handle. I'm not gonna lie. So the other thing you can do again, let me see if, let's go back here. We're gonna park this because you want it to go back to like home base. I'll be right back. Sorry, I went to see about this and I got out of this and I shouldn't have done that. While we're here, you're done. You just finished doing your embroidery. Maybe you're gonna do some sewing, whatever it is. You're gonna click this guy, that hoop option, and you're gonna click the size one for whatever reason. And again, this is the monochrome one. If I wanted everything monochrome, I'm just gonna show you real quick. I guess just pressing it would do it because, yep. Okay, all you do is press it and that means it's on for monochrome, so you don't have to switch out or do all that weird stuff in between letters. Okay, so anyway, you're gonna go in here and you wanna park it. And that's it. It's gonna go back to home base, and that's how you wanna put it away, okay? And it says for whatever reason that it's important to do that. So, okay, we did that. I'm just gonna say okay. And then it did a little more. And there it is, all done. Oh, you know what? I pulled a ton of bobbin thread, guys. Sorry, I forgot. You want to cut your bobbin thread also. You cut your top thread, your bobbin thread. If I didn't care about having a long piece left, right? I needed some so I can tack it down because of that oopsie. you're done. All you do is press the cut. So just press the cut and it's going to cut the bobbin and the top thread for you, and that's awesome because you don't need to do anything more, right? So that would be great. But for me, I had to keep that thread long, so that's kind of why I forgot to cut this also. So there you go. That's all done. I suppose we can just go back home. I don't know. Again, I don't know why it wasn't doing any of these stitches. Let's say number 3. Oh, hold on. It did not like number 135 for some reason. I wonder if it had to do with the hoop, but it would tell you. If the hoop is a problem, like we played with it earlier, it would tell you that. So that's weird, but there's number 3. Okay. I don't really want that. Let's say, I'm just making numbers up now. 6. Okay, it's moving around for number 6. I don't know what to tell you guys. We're going to do one of these next time, okay? So for now, we're done. You know, you can turn off your machine. You already have, well, mine moved around. It says to park it. It didn't move from here. This thing moved, right? So it's not the biggest deal. But definitely you want that parked, as they say. All right. Well, I am done, you guys. I will link whatever I can. If you have any questions, please ask. I will try and answer them as well as I can, but let me finish up. Let's look at our project. You know, I came to my craft table to show you this. I was going to take it off, but I don't really want to take it off because I think I'm going to try to use whatever design they might have for me and embroider it here, and maybe some kind of leaves or a pumpkin, something they have in there, right? I don't know why it would not pick up that one design. I didn't try any other ones in the higher numbers. I just tried 135, I was not finding it, and then I did, you know, 5, 6, whatever, and it was working. So that is interesting. So what I'm going to do anyway is just get this on here. I don't know if I can thread it that easily. I'm telling you, embroidery thread is so nice. Look at that. Popped it right in. And I'm just going to manually either run back through a few stitches, which I think it'll trap it anyway if I did that, and then back through my project to the back. Right? I need a thimble. There we go. And basically tack that down. So tomorrow, whenever I do the other little decoration that I want, I'll take this off, and all you do is rip the stabilizer off, guys. It's super easy. So it's going to stay under the lettering, obviously, but when you rip it, it's just going to rip away from these little areas. I can't really do it right now. I don't want to do it right now. But there you go. So I'm just going to finish this up, cut that off, and tomorrow we'll finish this project. What else? Oh, I need a thimble, so I'm not going to do that right now. Yes, I think you can easily work with it in their program if the program worked, if I was able to get in there. What happens is they have all these information on Singer.com. It has all of this information because they also do Husqvarna and Viking, some other different things, or whatever the other brands are, FAF. And those have options that this Singer does not. So it's confusing because you're like, oh, it says I can do this, but it's like, no, you can't do that. That's one of the other machines. So it's just a little bit of a headache, guys. I'm sorry. I just, you know, I'm always honest about this. We got some things going. I had an easier time with the Quintet. I think I had an easier time with the SE-100, not gonna lie, because again, it was just kind of computer based. Even though you didn't have to, well, I always say I don't really like when you have to work on the computer. If you can't use the software later. Obviously, once you have the software, you can use it. I love it. And you can see exactly where you're going to design. You can just drag it and place it and all those kinds of things. Right here, we have to kind of work with that little on-screen. So I'm hoping when we use the USB, the little port, that it'll work in their system. I tried to pull up something off that USB. I think it was on the USB, one of the tools, and it's like, you know, need to sign in, but then I couldn't sign in because it's not working. So that's not great, meaning we can't use those functionalities. Let me know if it's working for you guys. Hopefully they'll get it running pretty soon here. If you have any information, things that will help people out with some of the little issues I had today, leave them in the comments. People love to read the comments, and you can check them out there. And all right, guys, well, sorry I didn't quite finish it up today. We're going to do something for tomorrow. I am done. It's like 2 o'clock, and I started this like at 10. So now I have some tips and tricks in my own head, but yeah, not great. But we did patch up that little oopsie. Kind of a bummer, because what that means is that when it loses a stitch, or like it did, it doesn't go back and fix it, which some machines will go back a few stitches and then do it again because they know something messed up. I will say, I don't know if it knew that that was a problem because it told me when it was way over here and this was all white. So I think it was pulling the bobbin thread up and didn't realize that, oh, this is not good. So maybe it did go back a couple stitches and it just didn't look like it because, you know, it didn't realize until later. But that was a little trick I learned there. I showed you guys since it was the very beginning of the project, right? These little things, you can either leave them or you can just trim them away. They are tacked down, right? They will tack down anyway between words because it knows it's going to end and the next one's going to start, so it'll tack down even if you did monochrome, okay? At least it should. All right, guys. Thanks for watching. I will see you tomorrow with a follow-up.